My husband and I have worked together now for about 27 years. And by the grace of God, we've been able to maintain a very happy relationship in the home and then still be able to build this formidable business that our company is today. And I have a particular passion to see other entrepreneurial couples who are in business together have this kind of experience as well. This is actually what informed my writing the book Double Impact, which you can find on my personal website if you want a copy, and my forming the Double Impact platform for entrepreneurial couples who are in business together about 5.5 years ago. So today I want to just speak to a few things that I believe, especially young couples in business, need to pay attention to. I'll talk about 4 of them today. First of all is this: discuss your vision and your values as early as you can. Many times you just jump into the business without taking the time to bring about an alignment. And I promise you that this alignment of vision is actually critical. You see, I have had couples on my Double Impact platform where the disagreement between them stems from the fact that, as far as the wife is concerned, for instance, they need to be building a global brand with multiple branches, but the husband is content to just have one operation, and vice versa. It's important you align the vision, be clear where you see the business going, have the conversation early so that when those transition points come up, it's not a hard conversation to have and a hard decision to make at that time. Align your value systems too. Many times as couples, that's why there's counseling before marriage. You'll be surprised at things that you just assume and you find out later don't quite work out that way. Settle down and ask yourselves questions like, where is the place of God and your beliefs in your business? What are your views about paying taxes and complying with statutory requirements? You'll be shocked how much of a disagreement can come up in your business because perhaps the wife doesn't feel that it's worth paying taxes because government doesn't do anything, or perhaps the husband doesn't think certain licenses and permits are required to drive the business. And lastly, establish what you call your non-negotiables. For instance, in my business, non-negotiable, we're not giving bribes of any kind. Establish how you handle external influences. Establish how you hire people. Have those conversations early. Discuss your vision and your value system. The second thing I want to encourage you to do as a young couple who are in business together is this: optimize your competencies. And the only way you can do that is that you first of all define them. Have that hard conversation about who is bringing what to the table. I have seen cases where the woman starts the business and she's driving it, and because the man, lost his job or something, he joins her and he becomes the CEO because he's her husband. Whereas he really doesn't have the skills that are required to drive the business at that level. He would have perhaps better been deployed, in the factory and the operations team. I have seen those kinds of things. So have the conversation about what your competencies are, what your experiences are, what you bring to the table, what the business requires, and who is best placed where. So this is the second thing about optimizing your competencies for the benefit of the business, is that you have to figure out your role definitions. Let there be clarity. If one person is a managing director and the other person is an executive director or a deputy managing director, what are those roles supposed to be responsible for specifically? Have job descriptions for yourselves, even though you are the owners of the business, and make sure that your staff also have clarity. This is going to reduce a lot of the confrontations that you tend to have, and mind you, is also going to reduce avenues through which the staff can try to game you when they see that there are loopholes in how you report and how you relate within the organization. The third thing I want to say under optimizing your competencies is that you need to be sure that you are not shortchanging your business because of the expectations of others, because of the assumptions of how things are supposed to be run from a societal point of view. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me take the example of my business. I am the one who is good with finances, with process controls. I'm a stickler for processes. I'm very good with presentations. I have great skills in that regard. Therefore, when we go out for certain strategic meetings, my husband doesn't come to play I'm the boss. No, he lets me do what I need to do, drive the finance conversation, drive the risk conversations, make the presentations on behalf of the company, because he knows these are my areas of strength. On the other hand, he is a shrewd negotiator and is excellent in operations. Therefore, when it comes to those things, I defer to him because I can see that in the interest of the business, he has those skills that are required. Figure it out for yourself. It cannot be said that because he's the husband, he handles the money money matters. If that's not where his area of competency is, remember, it's about the business, it's about the business, it's about the business. The third thing I want to advise you if you're a young couple in business together is this: try to make sure that you maintain a professional approach to each other. Listen, your business is not your marriage. Let's get that clear. Your office is not your home. Let's get that clear. It's a corporate entity that demands professionalism, even from you, the owner. Especially from you, the owner, I dare say. Therefore, you have to be professional in your dressing. You have to be professional in your conduct. You can't be the one breaking the dress code. You can't be the one breaking the policies. You just can't be that. You have to show and be the example to your employees of a professionally run and managed company. The principle is this, especially with each other, that you have to be professional in your interactions with each other. And it's based on an assumption that the person you're working with is not your spouse. So I always used to give the example, for instance, of saying that perhaps I was working in one of the big 4 banks and my husband was the CEO of the bank and I was one of the executive directors, albeit at the top. If I needed to make a presentation to the managing director, I would speak to them in a certain way. I would articulate my points in a certain way. If I needed to do a presentation to drive home, put some rigor around the analysis, around the business or opportunity I want us to channel, then I would go there fully prepared. You should do no less with each other, because then you are running a business and not just talking to each other as husband and wife. And in that respect, let me also say that professionalism is really to a large extent about communication. So your communication with each other is key. Make sure that you're honoring of each other. You're respectful. Don't be dismissive of each other. Don't be disrespectful. Don't stifle each other's views or your inputs and your insights, because your staff, I repeat, they will take their bearings from you and they will look for loopholes in your relationships, and you will just be sending the wrong message down the line. When you are professional with each other, your staff will be professional with each other, and you'll have a great result in your firm. The last thing I want to talk about today is this: young couples in business together, make sure that you're intentional about your relationship. Listen, I preach this and I know it to be true. You cannot succeed in working together. Your business cannot succeed if you fail at home. Once you have problems in the house, they're going to translate into the office if you're not careful. And if your marriage breaks down, you can't continue working together. Actually, if you stop working together, you can still maintain your home. But chances are, if your marriage breaks down, you cannot continue to work together. So please remember, you must nurture your relationship. Try to set boundaries around what you say, boundaries around work. Bringing work home, for instance, and yes, I know most of us are working from home now, but we can still set boundaries around how we work, what time we work, where we work, how much work conversations we have. Set boundaries around how you will parent, especially when you have young children. Don't leave the parenting to just the mom. Make sure you, as a father, as a mother, that you are both there as co-parents. Be available to your children for their functions, for their school events. Agree that there are certain days when you will not set business meetings because you have to be with your family members. Be clear what the boundaries are also regarding your relations and how much interface and interference they can have with your business. Agree all these upfront. It will save you a lot of headache along the line. The last thing I want to advise under being intentional about your relationship is that you also have a conversation around how you will maintain your friendship. You must be friends. I tell you what, that's the secret of working together, that you're friends and you fundamentally enjoy each other's company. And that comes from having the conversation: how do we maintain our friendship? How do we maintain our love walk? How are we going to handle disagreements? How are we going to create alone time with each other? And how we're going to create alone time from each other, because I promise you, every once in a while you need to distance and just breathe. So I hope this has been useful today, and if you're a young couple in business together, please check out the website doubleimpactplatform.com. We have our meetings that will be of great use to you, and I'll be back next time to talk of some of the things that I think that every couple in business, especially young ones, needs to know. Take care.